Good morning, teacher. Today I'll be talking about the genetic code. My name is Perez Marquez, and I hope you enjoy my presentation. Starting off with the genetic code. The genetic code was founded/discovered by Rosalind Franklin. It took her at least 100 years to find the genetic code in 1951. And it also took around 100 years to notice that the DNA was like a ladder, or it was curling. The structure of the DNA. Parents pass traits to offspring to chromosome. As we all know, we all have 48 chromosomes. We get 24 from our mom and 24 from our dad. And chromosomes are made out of DNA and proteins that you can find in a cell's nucleus. The side of the double helix are made out of sugar molecules called deoxyribose that alternates with phosphate molecule. The rungs of the DNA are made out of nitrogen bases. DNA has four different kinds of nitrogen bases. The first one would be adenine, second would be thymine, the third one would be guanine, and the last one would be cytosine, and that is a DNA in the bottom corner. Next is DNA replication. Because of the way the nitrogen bases pair up, the order of the bases in each DNA strand exactly matches in the order that the DNA is. A little definition about DNA replication is the process in which an identical copy of a DNA strand is formed for a new cell. How does DNA copy itself? Well, I found this in the book and it was very interesting. DNA copies itself because of the way nitrogen bases pair up. The order of the bases in each DNA strand exactly matches in the order of the original DNA strand. And that's something that was interesting about this topic. And that's also a way that I wanted to talk about because it's very interesting. My summary that I did was the week I learned a lot about this lesson. The first thing I learned was that it almost took 100 years to discover DNA. I also learned that parents pass on offspring to chromosomes, and a gene is a section of DNA molecules that contain information in order of the nitrogen bases along a gene from a genetic code that specifies what type of protein will be produced. Also, two new cells or daughter cells result when a cell divides. Another thing I learned was that because of the way the nitrogen bases pair up, the order of the bases in each new DNA, those bases in each new DNA. And those were some things that I learned reading it back then and now. It got very interesting learning about the genetic code. I know people did it a lot last week, but I wanted to do it this week because I wanted to read more about it. I still got one more slide to do. Is fun facts of DNA. Your DNA could stretch from the Earth to the Sun and back 600 times. I chose these fun facts for me because they look very interesting, and that's another thing that your DNA could stretch from the Earth to the Sun back. Genes make up only about 3% of your DNA. A DNA test can reveal you're more Irish than your sibling. I never knew that. The human genome contains 3 billion base pairs of DNA, and your DNA could link you to places you never imagined. That's pretty cool that your DNA could do that. Um, this topic was very interesting to learn, and I hope I could learn more in the future. Because I really like this topic, talking about like how it's paired, the genes, the genetic code that was founded about 100 years ago. It was very interesting to learn, and they also took another 100 years to learn that um, the way that the genes were formed. and that since and yeah, that's all I got to say from this lesson about the genetic code. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and we'll see each other next week. Bye.